What's up, everybody? It's Fizzy here, and I'm back with another Kendama tutorial. Today, we're gonna do some advanced juggling. There's a lot of advanced Kendama juggling, but I'm gonna do something a little different today because I've been getting obsessed with 3-object juggling the last few weeks. So I'm gonna show you how to take your Kendama juggling to the next level by adding a 3rd object to the mix. So if you don't know how to kendama juggle at all, I did make another video on the basics of the regular kendama juggling, but this video will be a little bit more of a regular juggling video, but it is kendama focused. So all right, so if you have never juggled 3 objects, which I had not until really like the last month. You don't need some juggling balls or hacky sacks or whatever. You can really use any objects. But the very first thing you want to do is make sure that you can throw and catch back and forth between your 2 hands, because when you do add a 3rd object, the trickiest part is that you're using your offhand. So don't skip this 1 ball, 2 hands, especially if you're teaching a kid how to juggle. Start with 1 ball. Make sure you can throw it back and forth between your 2 hands. Once you got that, then you can add another ball. And like I said, you do not have to use juggling balls. You could just use whatever you find around. So the next thing, once you got that 1, is you want to throw the 1 from 1 hand, and when it's about to come down, you toss back the 1 in the other hand. So you just trade them off, right? And you should do that, get that so that you can do that every time. This is actually how you get good at juggling, is with 2 balls and then doing it the other way as well. Okay, and don't skimp on this. This is the key right there, okay? So go get those 2 object juggles down. Then the trickiest part is getting that 3rd one going. So it's the same motion, right, where you're just doing the 2, but then when you throw that next one, you just keep it going to just drop every single one, toss it over right when you're about to catch, right? So don't get frustrated. That takes a while to get the hang of, but it's actually not incredibly hard. So get that down, and then we can talk about juggling 3 objects in kendama. So what makes it extra tricky, of course, is that the ken is a completely different shape, right? So the first thing you need to do if you want to do some 3-object kendama juggling is practice those ken flips. Now, instead of just right hand to right hand ken flip like the regular kendama juggle, you now need to toss it and ken flip it to the other hand, right? Back and forth, hand to hand. So start with that and get that hang of that. Get the hang of catching the ken flip with your left hand and tossing it with your offhand, right? Don't take that for granted. Get that all locked in so your ken flips are straight. All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in a ball, whatever you've been doing your juggling practice. So this do the same thing we were doing with the 2-ball juggle, except for with the ken flips. So toss, toss, ken flip, right? Toss, ken flip, toss, ken flip, toss, ken flip. Okay, and you can do this with a kendama ball, you know, if you want to. Toss, ken flip, toss, ken flip, right? And then you can do the other way: ken flip, toss. Ken flip, toss. Ken flip, toss, right? So that'll get you in the swing of the ken flip with a ball. Then you can try to add the 2nd ball, right? So that's when you're really starting to put it together here. So then you're doing the juggle motion again, right? Except carefully ken flipping between each ball toss. All right, this takes a while to get the hang of, so don't get frustrated with that one. All right, now once you got that down, then we can put it all together, all right? Once you get your tamas in there, it's gonna start to be a little crazy because if you drop them and they bang into each other, you know, they might jump all over your house. So make sure you get it down before you switch to the full hard objects. But once you get the kendama balls in there, that's when you can do all sorts of really fun tricks, right? So oh crap, I'm upside down. So you'll notice, you know, what you need to work on in terms of those Ken flips especially. But that is how you work up to 3 objects. And then you can do any sort of kendama trick right off it, toss into a lighthouse, juggle the spike, all that stuff off it too. All right, so you pretty much got that. I want to show you one other very classic 3 object kendama juggle, all right? So the kendama itself, just a single setup, actually has 3 parts, right? So you got the sarado, take that off. Now this is a little weird because the 3 pieces are so differently shaped, but this is a really fun way to juggle too. You can have the sarado in one hand and go back and forth, catching the tama on the cups, you know, spike it when you want to. But the real trick is getting it going with these 3 very differently weighted objects, right? So it takes some getting used to, but you can do some real cool tricks with them. You can spike the sarado right off a jug, build your kendama in a jug. So those are some 3 object fundamentals. I hope you have fun learning that. Fizzy out. Peace.